This is the story of Daniel. Born in a small town, to a family that had nothing but hope. For Daniel, life was never easy. His shoes were always torn, sometimes he had no food to eat, and school felt like a luxury his family could barely afford. But even as a child, Daniel carried a dream in his heart. A dream bigger than his hunger, bigger than his pain, and bigger than the limits of his little world. Childhood struggles. Every morning before school, Daniel would help his mother sell bread in the market. While other children laughed and played, he balanced a tray on his head, praying they would sell enough to buy dinner. At school, some classmates mocked him. They called him the poor boy, a name that stung more than hunger. But Daniel refused to answer them. Instead, he focused on the lessons, listening carefully, hoping knowledge would one day be his way out. Family tragedy. Then came the day that changed everything. His father, the only steady provider for the family, fell sick. Weeks turned into months, and there was no money for medicine. One quiet evening, Daniel watched as his father took his last breath. The man who had once carried him on his shoulders was gone forever. The house felt colder that night. His mother cried silently, trying to be strong. But Daniel knew, childhood was over. From that moment, survival became his only mission. Responsibility and hardship. At just 13 years old, he took on jobs far beyond his age. He fetched water for neighbors, carried loads in the market, polished shoes by the roadside, anything to bring a little money home. Sometimes, he would skip school completely, because hunger demanded work instead of learning. Yet, in the quiet of the night, Daniel still dreamed. He dreamed of a world where his name meant something, a world where his story would not end in poverty. The decision to leave. One evening, after a long day of carrying heavy bags for strangers, Daniel sat by the roadside and looked up at the night sky. The stars above seemed endless, and for the first time, he wondered if his life could be endless too. Endless in meaning. Endless in possibility. He thought of his father's last words, whispered weekly before he passed, "Never give up. Life will test you, but don't give up." And so, with only a small bag,